Look, man, if you wanna get rich, there's a few things that I'd like to recommend to you to try out. You know, that are ideally very rich people making. You know, the first one is like buying assets, right? Like obviously you read that. Buy assets, no liabilities. But then, what is really meant by that? What do they mean by that? Like, what is meant, I think, is that we'll buy things that hold the value of money, right? That is where it starts. Okay, nah, mind that. Buy things that create money. And the first thing that might have came up to your house, into your head, was probably what, a car or a house that you could rent out or something, you know? Yeah, good thinking. But then you need to tap into, like, imagine the small things that create money for you, right? Like the small things that create money for you. Like, think about, because obviously you can't just like wake up and go buy a house and rent it out, right? Obviously, at your age, if you're young and if you're old enough, you can, but like, bro, you know? So, what I'd like to say is that you could start by maintenance, you know? Maintenance, like, buy the tools that are gonna help people maintain anything. And maintenance is broad, bro. It's so broad. So, the minute you can, like, tap in and buy, like, appliances, bro, that people need to maintain certain things. Like, for instance, I have I have a cousin that makes nails, right? She invested in doing people's nails, and people like to invest. They like to maintain their nails. They like to maintain their hair. They like to. People like to maintain their yard. People like to maintain their. Do you get me? Just like that's the small things. Cheap, you know. People like to maintain their swag. So if you're investing in thrifting and becoming a stylist goat, then you can do that, you know. There's honestly a lot of things you can tap into. I'm not gonna lie. So you just need to start small, because I always speak about putting yourself in a place where you are already the person that you'd like to be. So literally, bro, that starts with you solving solutions first of all, coming up with solutions, you know, solving people's problems, you know. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro, and say that it takes time to be all the and it takes effort, you know, the small steps, like the tiniest effort you could think of makes, like, cause and effect, you know, cause and then there's an effect, you know. So you need to be in a place where the small things that you do are leading to great, you know, outcomes. And for you to not be depressed in life, you know, and like be sad, you need to notice even the smallest of outcomes that may come, you know. That means that you need to like be so present that you noticing that shift either in people's behavior towards you, or any shift in that sense. Just be in a place where you are noticing and you are using that as your drive to keep on cooking, you know, keep on pushing, motivating, you know, doing all the things that you want to do, because it takes small effort to Because obviously when you do big, right, the outcome from that is like a lot of effects, and sometimes you might focus on the bad because that hurts you the most. But then when you focus on the bad, when you focus on the bad, you attract things that you don't like bad, So the moment you start focusing on the good and letting that motivate you, that's how you start like tapping in and like being more focused and getting more big outcomes. And yeah, man, just understand what life is from your perspective, and do the things that you want to do and accomplish what you want to accomplish. Crazy. Crazy is to think that anything you do does not have, effect. And you shouldn't think like that. You should always understand that people perceive you as an individual, right? You should really delve into understanding people's perspectives, or at least gaslighting yourself into always experiencing the good perspectives. What else can you do to be happy, man? Put yourself in a place where because sometimes, right, you might pitch ideas to people, and they might not receive it how you'd like them to receive based on how they view you. So that's why the perspective is always good. It's always like a thing that you need to be concerned with, because if I'm always seeing you as someone who says they're gonna quit driving, they're always doing that, when you come to me with a business idea, do you get me? You get it? So it's like, firstly, people need to view you as someone that is trustworthy and is worth and like they need to view you as someone who usually commits, in a sense, or is worth the benefit of the doubt to the least, because at the end of the day, people around us need to see us as our ideal selves at first, and then when that happens, you can then convince them into helping us because they already see us for who we are. Yet, so that's the easy part, man. To get wealthy, you need to serve people, serve humanity. Because believe it or not, today I was speaking with a friend. She said that, oh my God, people don't need to be this wealthy, and they just causing global warming and suffering, and killing. Why do people need this much? Because at the end of the day, right, people like that. Like the reason we have global warming is because people are demanding these things, right, in massive quantities. So you need to be in a place where people find value in whatever you offering them, and then when they find value, you just need to solve other problems, right, while giving them value. So it's like, I'm just putting this first point out there because there's things like global warming and like the gases and stuff. But then you get favors and you get liked more if you don't cause to those problems. As much as those problems are already there, and a lot of people are already, tapping into those problems, but then you can like be the person that tries to, be light, so that it's easy for you to, so that it's easier for you to what? To scale big. Yeah. Because in order to scale, you need to already be in a place where what you're offering is bigger than what is already out there, and you need to be solving problems. So imagine if you could do both at the same time, how quick your scale would be, And honestly, man, I want us to always keep being humble. That is important because people miss out on opportunities whenever they aren't as humble, you know? And sometimes when you're not humble, you fall into the wrong ones. Because you are vibrating in this energy of a realm of people who are pretenders and so you need to always be true to yourself and always just be nice. So be nice to yourself, be nice to the environment, be nice to the people that are going to support you. So by being ethical, it is important to be ethical whenever you are offering people things. What else? The more you spend time thinking about something, my God, the more you spend time thinking about something, guess what happens? So you need to be focused. That's why people say hard work, because hard work doesn't really mean that you're working hard. You're just spending more time to the point where it is your second nature, to be the effect of what you've been doing consistently. So as soon as you put yourself in a place where you are this person and you're doing what this person should be doing, then it's easy, man. So yeah, man, with what I just said, just try your best to always you need to firstly picture this person, right? How they acting, what they have accomplished at that point, and their morals. So and then you start being that in order to become that person. Yeah, so for you to get to the second floor, you have to have walked up the stairs or taken an elevator or jumped or something. So in most cases, results are an effect of cause, right? So protect your energy. great, man.